We are live for Empire State of Baseball, episode number 124 on this Monday, May the 12th, 2025, airing on Instagram, X, and YouTube, and as always, powered by StreamYard. Gentlemen, hope everything is well. And for those out there, once again, wishing you all a belated happy Mother's Day for those that celebrate. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Again, shout out to Chrissy, shout out to Allie, celebrating Mother's Day yesterday. Shout out to all the mamas that produce the cast here of Empire State of Baseball and all the mothers out there in the community. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Corey Favs, hope you had a great weekend as well, my man.
Yeah, listen, it was nice. It was beautiful weather, something that doesn't look like we're going to have this week. So have to take advantage of the nice weather while you can and hang out with all the moms. I was on Staten Island with my parents on Saturday with Caitlin's family right by our area in Jersey yesterday. So overall, it was a very, very nice weekend. Nice weekend for Mets baseball, too. They took that series versus, I don't even remember who they played, the Cubs. So nice 2 of 3 set for them this weekend. So overall, good weekend. Just hoping to continue it into this week.
And a great test for them. I can't even call it litmus test because the Mets are a good team. Granted, regardless who you face in the schedule. The Chicago Cubs have been one of the top teams in all of baseball, so to take 2 out of 3 against Chicago is big. We talked about this last week, guys, how we weren't feeling good about our teams going into last Monday's episode. We were hoping that the teams were to get back on track, and they certainly did. So, Joe, Tom, we're feeling good about our teams again.
As we should. I mean, I know the Yankees were out in Sacramento playing the A's, and the A's have been laughing stock of baseball for a half a decade, but they got a good team. There's some good offensive players. That the pitching maybe is lacking still, but if a team that can hit, that can score some runs. We saw that over the weekend, and it was nice to see the Yankees just kind of head out there, handle business, especially on West Coast trips, which I know Corey and Joe have talked a lot about the Mets. When you go on the West Coast, you kind of just you hope to get splits. So with the Yankees winning 2 out of 3, hey, if we can win the series in Seattle, you come back 4-2 from a West Coast road trip. I can't think of a better way to come into a Subway series, which we're going to get into in a little bit tonight.
Yeah, no, listen. The Mets took care of business this weekend. They won a series against the Cubs, who were in first place in the NL Central. They won a series against the Diamondbacks, who they tied last year for the wild card and won on the tiebreaker. The Mets split the season series with the Diamondbacks, which at least still doesn't leave either team with the tiebreaker over the other, but it puts them in a position where they're not going to get screwed on the tiebreaker on a head-to-head. Right now, they own the tiebreaker against the Cubs. Right now, they own the tiebreaker against the Phillies. So far, the Mets have taken care of business against the teams that they're going to be competing for a playoff spot with if they don't win the division. So that's the good thing. And they played pretty good ball. Yes, I would have liked that one game, that middle game against the Cubs felt really winnable. And so you're upset that you didn't win that game. But you know what? You take it 4-2 against 2 teams who are supposed to be borderline playoff teams, if not surefire playoff teams. That's pretty good. I'll take that any day of the week.
100%.
Absolutely. We'll get more into the Empire Express in a little bit. And the rest of our rundown. That rundown is brought to you by Roback. Thomas, take it away.
Yeah, listen, guys, we're heading into the summer, and Roback is rolling out their American Summer Collection. I'm actually wearing one. I got it last year. It's this red, white, and blue hibiscus, so a little tropical feel to it. It has a little bit of like a faded look to it, a little vintage style there. Their American Summer Collection is probably like the biggest collection they do all year. So they have a ton of stuff from just your classic red, white, and blue polos, striped polos, things like that. But they also have some cool stars stuff. They have the splatter on it. They have one with like the bunting that you would have on the stadiums for opening day. They got one of those tying some baseball in. Bathing suits, shorts, hats, all kinds of stuff. And the one thing I'll say about any of this Roback stuff, other than it's fantastic quality, is they release these collections and then they go away. And so I got this shirt last year, and if you wanted to buy this shirt in the middle of the summer, you couldn't, because they sell out, and then they sometimes restock them later. So if you see something you like Use that promo code TWASPL15, save yourself your 15% and get it before it goes away, because trust me, I've had times where I saw a shirt, like, oh, I like that. I don't know. And then it sells out and you're like, well, I guess I'm not getting it, because once it's gone, it's typically gone. So head over to Roback, use promo code TWASPL15, save yourself 15% off your order.
All right, the rundown brought to you by Roback Crave Activity for this episode number 124. We have 4 things on tap. The Empire Express, as always. We get into our latest and greatest Mets and Yankees notes. We have a massive series coming up. The first of 2 Subway series, a traditional Subway series, boys, which I'm looking forward to. Not the 2-2 bull crap, an actual 3-game set at Yankee Stadium. And down the line, another 3-game set at Citi Field. But obviously, we're going to keep the focus on what's happening at the big stadium in the Bronx. Then we have Book It. Our guy, Took, is coming in with his series to watch. And I can only imagine which series he's choosing of all the MLB series that's happening in the next week. Then we have a brand new segment called High Five. Our High Five segment is a countdown segment that we all collaborated on. And today we are covering Subway Series moments for our debut segment. And something's going on with the New York Mets right now because Joe's clapping his hands. What do you got there, Joe?
Jeff McNeil, an RBI double in the corner off of Paul Skeens, has tied the game at 1. There you go.
So a 1-1 game off of Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And then finally, we're going to finish things up with a lineup card. Second time we're rolling out the lineup card for you guys in the 2025 season. But before we get into our Empire Express, I want to just shout out the room real quick. That's pouring in. Mike Pars, again, yeah, I'm late today, but it does not change the fact that everyone should like and subscribe. His late, by the way, is 1:20 p.m. in the afternoon, so that's not necessarily late. That's like 7 hours early, so shout out to Pars. Jacob Petruzzi, smack the like and sub button for the fellas on your way in. 538 subs away from 1,000. 538 freaking subs away from 1,000. Come on, let's get the subs up, gentlemen. Let's do this thing. Dr. Kulo, like and subscribes because DR told you. Doctor told you. Swift, smack the like and hit the sub. Oh, my God. 24,538 subs away from 25,000. Come on, let's get the subs up so we can hit this number tomorrow. Let's go. Jack Esposito, what's going on, Jack? We got Jordan in the building. Kin Knows Ball, relatively familiar face on a Bronx take. He's coming in with some of the hottest takes. Has his own pod as well, so give him a follow. He's at the Ball Knowers, a non-pod. He says sources are saying Knicks, and right now for the New York Knicks, because we are monitoring the game on the side, they are trailing by 1 according to my feed here. Celtics are up 25-24 in the first quarter with 2 minutes left to go. And then, yes, our guy Swift calling out Captain Jack. All righty, folks, let's get into it. It is the Empire Express. All right. Oh, wait, almost forgot one more. Sierra, our very own Sierra. If you're not subscribing, you're lame. And I do agree with that. All righty, let's get into it. We'll start with the New York Metropolitans, Joseph. When it comes down to the New York Mets, a much better split as compared to about a week ago. 4-2 out of their last 6 games. Pete Alonso got joined on the home run leaderboard for the New York Mets. Now Lindor is up on the board. They're tied at 9 homers apiece, but Alonso, of course, grabbing most of those offensive categories. The Mets took back their ERA crown after the Yankees beat up on the Padres pitching. So they're back on top of the National League with that 2.88 ERA, 26-15 at first place in the NL East. Joe, your thoughts on this team?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been business as usual for the Mets basically all year. They've been really good. They have not had extended losing streaks. They have not dropped consecutive series. So the Mets are really in a good position. Still a game and a half up on Philly, 6.5 up on the Braves, who are about to get stronger as Acuna comes back. But like I said before, they took care of business against 2 playoff level teams. And one of the criticisms of this team early was that they had a little bit of a soft schedule in April. Well, the fact of the matter is they came and played 2 teams. One team they fought for the playoffs last year, and the other team, who I think is heavily considered the favorite in the NL Central this year, in the Cubs. So, you know, they've been phenomenal. Listen, I can't say enough about Francisco Lindor. Had a go-ahead home run in the 8th inning yesterday. I mean, every single time the Mets have a big home run, it seems like Francisco Lindor hits it. This dates back to last year. It dates back to the year before. We going over Subway Series moments. He had a big moment in the Subway Series a few years ago, and it's just it always seems that Lindor is the one rising to the moment. You go back to the Braves last year where he hit the home run after they went down in game 161. You go back to Toronto last year where the Mets were getting no hit in Toronto, and he turns around, hits a home run, and the Mets turn around and win a game they were getting no hit in that they needed, that ended up being important because they they backed into the playoffs on a tiebreaker. A home run in Philly that clinched them the NLDS essentially by hitting that ball out in a scoreless game. So he has been nothing short of fantastic. The pitching has stayed on par. McGill had a little bit of a rough start the other day, but other than that, the pitching's been on par. Griffin Cannon has earned himself a rotation spot. I don't care when Montas and Minaya come back. Cannon is not losing his spot in the rotation. He has been absolutely phenomenal this year. He has earned every single spot, every single start that he gets from here until at least through the All-Star break. So for me, those two guys are on their way back. Cannon's not going anywhere. I mean, he has been unbelievable this year.
Now the qualified leader on the Mets in ERA.
Yes.
Yep.
I feel like Senga's still
Senga doesn't have the qualified minimum.
Right, because Senga's first start was a little bit later. It's like a couple of innings, but he's been phenomenal. So there's not much to criticize about this team right now. They're rolling. They're playing good baseball, and they just got to keep doing what they've been doing this whole season so far.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much exactly what Joe said. It was a great week against two teams that are going to be right there late in the season fighting for a playoff spot. You take 4 of 6 every single time. I said it last week on the show. I was like, you know what? Against these two teams, I guess I'll take 3 and 3. I really want the 4 and 2 because the Mets had a little bit of a colder stretch the week and a half prior. But I'm pumped. They took the 4 of 6, exactly what I wanted. Really, the only Achilles heel that this team has right now, it's executing with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
They are putting up runs, and they do have the best, at least prior to today's game, the best run differential in the National League, and they're third best overall. I think the Yankees are actually first, but the Mets are top in the NL in run differential. It's just that these games are losing are games that they're pretty much in every single one. They're just a couple of big hits away, or a couple of timely hits from changing that outcome. Like Joe said, the Cubs that they lost on Saturday, I think they lost by 1 run, and they had several opportunities with guys on base, just failed to cash in. So they're right there. That's the only Achilles heel. The pitching, you could not ask for more right now. I think the only pitcher that you might see starting to cool off a little bit is Tyler McGill. And you're asking a lot for McGill. He had such a phenomenal April, but no one expects Tyler McGill to put up the numbers he did in April. He's a 5th starter at best. And right now, his last couple of starts, gave up about 4 runs, I think, in his last 2 starts. That's pretty much what you expect for Tyler McGill. And I'm with Joe, too, 100%. As you start to get some of these guys back, like a Minaya, like a Montas, you definitely can't be taking the job from Griffin Canning. He is absolutely, until proven otherwise, he has locked up a rotation spot. I do think the Mets will try to go 6-man as much as they can. When you sprinkle in a couple of off days, I'll think to go to 5. When you have those stretches where you're playing like 9 days in a row, they'll probably go to 6. So they'll find ways to make it work. I think at this exact moment, assuming they both came back, Tyler McGill would definitely be the odd man out, and they'll kind of wing it from there. But right now, as a Mets fan, I couldn't ask for anything more. And I got to give one more shout out, too, to a player. How about Brett Beatty? Got sent down back near the end of April, and due to injury, he's back up with the team. Again, prior to today's game, he had 12 at-bats in his brief tenure back with the Mets. And across those 12 at-bats, he has 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, and an OPS over 1. So,
yeah, Corey, you mentioned the runners in scoring position. The Mets ranked 26th in baseball with a 226 average with runners in scoring position this year. The little caveat to that is they're 19th in on-base percentage with runners in scoring position at 323, and they're actually 15th in slugging percentage at 400 dead even. So the occasions where they have gotten hits, they've seemed to be a little bit stronger of hits than just singles with run and scoring position. But you got to figure that that's going to come around. And so for me, they've been about as bad as humanly possible. I mean, the two teams next to them are Arizona and Pittsburgh with runners in scoring position. And so if you're telling me that the Mets are a game and a half up and they haven't even hit with runners in scoring position, that leaves a lot of room for improvement. That's going to improve over the course of the year. That's a very fickle stat. It seems to be random at times. So my guess is that improves and the Mets' fortunes improve from there, which is a good sign considering they played so well so far.
New York Mets they got the Pittsburgh Pirates currently at Citi Field. It's a 1-1 game in the top of the fifth inning, as we heard the Joe commentary before on the Jeff McNeil RBI. Pittsburgh's in until Wednesday. They have the off day on Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, of course, is the big game that we're going to touch on in just a couple of moments. Subway Series Part 1 of 2. But yeah, when it comes down to at least gaining momentum into such a heralded series, let's say the least, between the Yankees and Mets, I'm thinking here you want to at least take 2 out of 3 against Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh, hell, even grabbing all 3 games against a team that struggled thus far this season. The Pirates coming into play. I just want to pull up the record one more time. The Pirates are coming into play 14-27. I mean, this is a sweep candidate that can definitely give you some great momentum going into a marquee matchup this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say the only thing that would have said 2 out of 3 to me is that Skeens is going tonight. But right now it's 1-1 in the 5th. So this game's up for grabs. And if you beat Skeens, that you definitely have to feel like a sweep is what your goal is after you get through game 1. If you lose to Skeens, okay, you lose, 2-1 to a great pitcher. It's not a big deal. If you beat Skeens and then lose to one of these other guys, I'd be a little bit less enthusiastic about that loss, but that would be the goal here.
Yeah, completely agree there. 2 or 3 at minimum, but if they could steal tonight, I would really love the sweep going into the weekend series. The other thing, too, you got to keep an eye on is the weather. It's not looking good the next couple of days. Again,
the next 7 days.
Yeah, I think tomorrow looks worse than Wednesday. So it was a very good. I think we'll probably end up getting one of the games in, maybe both. It just depends. So there's a chance, maybe they only get 2 games. And again, hopefully you win both those 2 games. And then you make up a game sometime later in the year. But we'll see what happens. We have to keep an eye on the weather. Hopefully the weather's good for this weekend because both teams are in New York this weekend.
I'm closely monitoring the weather because I have tickets to the Saturday game. And right now it's looking like scattered thunderstorms. The only saving grace, it's an afternoon game. So the hope is maybe a long enough rain delay, they'll eventually play the game at night. So we'll see what happens there. But let's flip over to the New York Yankees side of the East River here. Thomas, how are we feeling about the team?
Got to be feeling better than last week. It's like we started the show off here. They won 2 out of 3 in Sacramento. The offense came alive. You love what you saw out of Dominguez hitting 3 homers the first game. Judge with another just casual 4-hit game, which is just, it doesn't seem fair. I know that they flashed it up. Rich, I'm sure you saw in the audience. I'm sure you saw it. He's like first in literally every offensive category right now. It's video game stuff, what Judge is doing. And Rich, you and I's favorite pitcher, Will Warren, he decided to put his big boy pants on. And
and how about your guy? You were giving Clark Schmidt a lot of Schmidt the last time you talked about him, and look at him. Yeah,
I mean, listen, I appreciate the effort that they made again. I almost said Oakland. The A's have a good offense. To kind of navigate that line of it is not as easy as you would think or as a casual might think. So they showed up. Listen, I want them to do well. Just because I don't think they're very good doesn't mean I'm not rooting for them to pitch well. I would love Will Warren to throw a perfect game. That would be nice. So yeah, you got to feel better going into Seattle. Seattle's been like good this year, right? I'll be honest, I don't really know.
Yeah,
I think they've been good.
I mean, their
offense has been better, right?
They're at the top of their division. They're 22-17.
That pitching.
The pitching is always the pitching, but I remember seeing that their offense has actually not been abysmal, which coupled with that pitching, is formidable. I think kind of the same situation that we were talking about with the Mets in hosting the Pirates. So granted, the Yankees in Seattle is a lot taller task and ask than Mets hosting the Pirates. I think everyone would agree with that. But win 2 out of 3, come home feeling good. That's kind of what you're looking for at this point. It was nice to see. Really, almost everyone. The bullpen struggled a little bit on Saturday. You don't like to see Cruz. Cruz got hit hard. Hamilton got hit hard. So I don't like that. But I think what we've gotten out of, especially Cruz so far this year, has been like so much more than you ever could have expected. So he's got to have some games like that, and you take it.
It was JC Escara, Swift. Just want to answer your question right there. But yeah, Mariners first place in the American League West right now, 22-17, 2 games up on Astros and the Athletics. I tell you what, when it came, and I mentioned this on a Bronx Take earlier, but the Athletics were coming into play a plus 500 team, so they were in a team that you would normally take lightly in years past. And I don't know how. I don't know who they've been playing. I don't know how they are a plus 500 team. They have no pitching. Luis Severino seemed to be the only bright spot, and the Yankees gave him a run on Sunday. Offensively, yeah, they got a couple of guys that can swing. Tyler Soderstrom has calmed down from that initial month power surge that he had. They have some, they have a couple of guys that can hit, but I don't see the Athletics doing much more than that early jump they had on the top of the American League West standings board. But how about the guy that's pictured right here? Jason Dominguez. Jason Dominguez is always a controversial topic because you just don't know how this guy should be featured in an everyday lineup where it seems like the Yankees just have surplus in positions where, unfortunately, someone comes out of the lineup every day. It's unfortunate, but like Tom, this lineup in between Dominguez, Bellinger, Rice, Goldschmidt, Grisham, one of the 5 can't be in the lineup because, you can't run out somebody out of position. You got to have Judge hit every day. It's a tough situation that the Yankees find themselves in because they're getting nothing out of the rest of their infield right now.
Yeah, that is very true. You wish that one of these guys, you wish like Ben Rice could learn. I know Ben Rice playing third, I feel like it's been a topic on Yankee Twitter. Like, can he do it? Probably not. If I'm going to be honest, we saw him try to field at first. Some ugly stuff there. But the thing is, Grisham's still been so good. And Bellinger's been a lot better as of late. I know his season numbers, because they were pretty grim there for a while, don't look great. But if you look at his last couple weeks, they're good, and he plays a really good defense out there. You can put him in center or left. Dominguez had that ball was out on Saturday where he I don't know how he didn't get to it. It's so funny. If you watch Dominguez run the bases, he looks like the fastest guy in baseball. I believe there's a metric that supports it right now. As far as sprint speed goes, he is the fastest guy on the team. On the team, yeah. I was gonna say that guy.
No, I was gonna say not baseball.
That guy in Tampa is
Chandler Simpson. Is that?
Oh my god, that guy's fast.
Chandler Simpson.
Dominguez is fast. Dominguez is legitimately very fast. When you see him running for like a fly ball, it's like he's running on ice. I think he just doesn't want to misplay a ball and have it get behind him. But he has to start using some of that athleticism to get this up, because that ball that dunked in on I think it was Saturday was like, what are we doing here? Because even if that gets behind him, it wasn't a line drive, the Volpe was heading out, Bellinger or Grisham were heading over. It would have been one base at worst. It just, I don't know. He's too timid out in the outfield, and I want to see more out of him in that way. But I mean, offensively, he's been producing, especially hitting lefty.
I got to tell you one thing too. We just saw the Cubs and Pete Crow Armstrong come in. And when I tell you, I don't think I've ever seen somebody cover as much ground in the outfield. I mean, Soto hit a ball about 105 miles an hour in the gap, and he flagged it down. Crow Armstrong flagged the ball down that he almost overran. I couldn't believe he even got there. And then you see on the replay, catches it when it's behind him. I'm like, this kid can absolutely fly in the outfield. I've never seen anybody cover that.
So can Javi Baez.
Life. Ever. I mean, it was wild. And I'm just sitting here drinking because we gave him up for Javi friggin' Baez. So that
playing good. Javi Baez playing good in Detroit. He's taken into a super utility role. I mean, thumbs down all you want, but Javi Baez is taken into a veteran leadership role with Detroit. Look at Javi Baez and look at Tom.
For a fake playoff run, a fake 2021 fake playoff run.
For an unnecessary playoff run. By the way, I want to mention this. I know next week we get to really tap into the New York Strike Exchange's new segment, the trading floor. But my Paul Goldschmidt pick looking pretty good right now. Last 7 games, he's got a 316 average. He's got a 1.013 OPS. You wish the power numbers were there. He's got 1 home run in that mix. But I tell you what, Tom, he has a couple more home runs this week. I'm looking good as Paul Goldschmidt for a Bull this next week.
You would be, but my point last week was it still stands now. Like, granted, he said he's 1 OPSing in this time frame, but he doesn't hit for enough power that he's going to rarely make the strike exchange, because the strike exchange for offensively, you have to hit homers, you got to hit doubles, high OPS, a lot of RBIs. He hits behind Judge, who just hoovers all that up. I mean, Goldschmidt's been great. I think he deserves everything he's been. He's a guy that if we were at the halfway point of the season, he'd be an all-star right now. In the AL, he should make that team. But he's not going to be able to get those counting stats, which kind of matter for that, which is why I stayed away from him. But yeah,
we'll see what happens when we hit the trading floor next week. Should be a lot of fun there, Joseph, when we debut that segment. But I wanted to make one more note, since the Yankees are in Seattle. This was brought to my attention by several different sites, Pinstripe Alley being one of them. Right now, I have Sports Illustrated. Aaron Judge's career numbers at T-Mobile Park are incredible. He's currently, or all time, he's got 22 games played there, but he's batting .304. He's got an on-base percentage of .362. He's got 10 home runs there and 24 RBIs. So, Tom, historically great numbers at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. So, hoping to see more of that added to Judge's total over these next 3 days.
That ball he hit, I think last year hasn't landed yet. That ball that I think the StatCast said it went like it went like 410. There's no way the ball like flew out of the stadium, basically landed where the Seahawks play. It was absolutely destroyed.
I just can't believe that this guy's being pitched to still.
Mm-hmm. That's
like, the other thing. He's got 6 intentional walks, which is the most in baseball, but he's batting .409. He's on base. He's taking his singles on base percent. Why would you pitch to him? Why are you pitching to him?
The thing is, though, because his approach this year is that he is so willing to just hit a single, just to hit the ball the other way. I understand what you're saying, but like unless you're gonna legit throw 4 straight balls.
I'm saying put up 4 fingers. Put up the 4 fingers. That's it. There's
not enough
offense behind him. Cody Bellinger's batting .200 behind him. Why are you
Bellinger's been better as of late.
I will say, if you're ever in a situation where guys in scoring position, first base is open, you have to walk him. You have
to. You have to. It's a guarantee every single time.
Yep.
Guarantee every single time. It's insane stuff. Shout out to Swift here. Swift, one of our best supporters here on Empire State of Baseball. Speaking of streams, this is the best Yankee Met Quad YouTube stream on the interweb. Subbing was the best choice I made. We might be the only Yankee Met Quad on the internet, for all I know. But Sean Browning, shout out to Sean, goes Judge West Coast Playpen. Yes, so those the Seattle Mariner numbers support it. But of course, there is the final set, which brings us to talking about this weekend marquee matchup. The New York Mets versus the New York Yankees. Now, in a couple of moments, we're going to get into Book It, brought to you by Book with Took, which I have a feeling he has something to say about the Subway Series. So without really getting into results, let's just talk about series predictions. Players that are going to be X factors for this series. What do you expect out of this set? We'll go around the room. We'll go back to the Mets folks. Corey with you, then Joe, then throw it over to Tom.
Overall for the series, I'm going Mets. I'm going Mets 2-1. I think we see a couple home runs by Aaron Judge that are going to give the Yankees the lead. I think he hits 2 home runs in the game that the Yankees win. I think you're going to have a little bit of back and forth. And I'm going to say on the Mets side, I'm I'll tell you what. I think first at bat, Juan Soto's hitting a home run in Yankee Stadium. I could see it right now. It's going to happen.
I mean, that's the most fascinating storyline of this all, right? It's Soto coming back to Yankee Stadium. If that's going to be an interesting thing, he's not going to have a warm reception, that's for sure. He's probably going to be viciously booed at all times during the game. Because again, he was the first guy basically to come to the Yankees and then leave. So that's going to be, I think that's going to be the biggest storyline of the weekend, is that because it's so intertwined. The pitching matchups, you have Rodon and McGill to be announced on Saturday versus Cannon, and then Schmidt and Peterson on Sunday. I would say the Mets probably have the advantage on Saturday and Sunday, and Rodon has.
I don't have official.
Yeah, I have Schmidt.
Probables.
I don't know. Schmidt on Saturday and Fried on Sunday.
I'm looking at the probables at MLB.com. They have nothing listed yet.
I'm looking on ESPN.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it lines up. It's supposed to line up Rodon, Schmidt, Fried.
Yes.
And in that case,
yes,
I would say the Yankees have the advantage. The Fried start, they have the advantage. I don't care. David Peterson, you've had a nice year, but Max Fried has been the best pitcher in the AL so far this year. Saturday, I would say matchup wise, can be a toss up again. I know, Joe, you were singing Canning's praises. He's definitely been good. Schmidt has not been great, but I think you could see either of those guys pitching a good game or either of those guys getting lit up, and you couldn't be sure of which one was which. And then, Rich, I can't wait for you to get your eyes on Carlos Rodon. 7 shutout innings. He's going to give a 7 shutout. He's going to give up a little homer. That's fine. He's going to give up one run.
I think I would be matched up for Schmidt. I got the Saturday game, so
I think you've seen Schmidt. So honestly, sucks for you, Rich. But
that one might be like the guarantee L out of that mix.
What are you gonna do? But yeah, listen, the Subway Series is always fun. It's fun in the stadium. I've been to at least one. I think probably been to a couple Subway Series games in history. I think it is like such a bigger thing for the fans than it is, I think, for the players. I don't think the players care that much.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things that, like, and listen, you can bookmark this. We'll have the show next week. If the Yankees sweep, I'm not going to come on the show if the Yankees sweep or win 2 out of 3. Like, oh my God, the Mets are what a joke, and the Yankees are. It's 3 games. I'd rather win a series against the Orioles than I would against the Mets, and that's just how I feel. It's fun. It's fun to watch. I see Joe just smiling because he wants to gloat so much.
Of course, the Yankee fans think that, and then they downplay it when they get swept for the season, like they did last year.
Because it doesn't matter as much as any. I'd rather sweep Cleveland.
Listen,
and you guys should rather sweep the Cubs.
Outside of the one play, the better team is the Mets right now. So I'm that the Yankees got to show me. And if Fried doesn't,
the Yankees don't have to show you shit. They don't owe you anything.
If Fried doesn't pitch, do you think I'm scared of Ryan Yarbrough and Clark Schmidt?
Ryan Yarbrough's not pitching. They will go out of their way to make sure he does not start a game this weekend.
You got to remember they're going to play Texas the day after the Subway Series, and Texas is a team that they're going to be competing for a playoff spot with. If you're not winning the division, you're going to be competing with them in the wild card spot.
They will be winning the division.
So that's probably the more important. We just talked about this with Arizona and the Cubs. That's probably the more important for the playoff wise to have Fried win a game
in May.
Especially because DeGrom's pitching game 2 for Texas. So you definitely want to get Fried a game into Texas before you have to face DeGrom the next day.
Listen, you don't shuffle the deck in May and for May games. So
I also hate to play this. But Joe, here's the thing. I also hate to play this game because I don't want to say teams are doing this, but Sunday's game is an ESPN game. It's a primetime game.
Yes.
If Max Fried's lined up to pitch that game, they want Max Fried on the mound for that game.
Well, I would have said that, but remember years ago, it was Cole's day to pitch, and they didn't pitch him against DeGrom on a Sunday night game. So it's not like the Yankees haven't pushed their ace back to do that. They had the exact same scenario a few years ago. It was Cole DeGrom that was set to be like the most watched Subway Series game with the two biggest pitchers in New York going, and the Yankees kick the can.
I'll be frank. Now, not saying obviously it just worked out the way it worked out, but I am kind of bummed that the Yankees aren't getting a Clay home start at Yankee Stadium this weekend. I think that would have been a lot of fun to add to.
We needed a Clay home start.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
But as far as player,
like last year at Severino.
As far as player performances go, I know the Yankees have had this crazy conundrum among 4 positions for 5 players deal. But one I think that's going to emerge out of it. I've been feeling good about. I know Tom, you mentioned it before, but I've been feeling good about this turn for Cody Bellinger to the point where I may have to coin the term Cody Bullinger ahead of next Monday. So I think Cody's is due for a big series. I think it's going to come this weekend.
I would like that. That sounds good to me. I don't know. Again, to make that Bulls list is tough considering Judge and Lindor I think are already on it. I don't think there's really probably ways to get either of those two off. Right. Max Fried, he's going like 7-8 shutout against the Mets on Sunday Night Baseball. So there's a lock right there. So there's limited spots on the Bulls list.
Absolutely.
All right. Cody Bullinger versus Brett Bully this weekend.
Listen, Griffin Cannon's probably making the list at the rate he's going.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a name that's fun. All right, so before we get into Book It and talk more about the Subway Series, let's talk about Instagram. And with Instagram is Corey Favs.
Yeah, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Empire State of Baseball. You'll find all our archived segments, all our meme reels, graphics from the show. You name it, you'll find it over there. You can also follow all of us individually at Corey Favs, at JR Pugs, at Rich J. Rivera, and Tom at T. Wospil. We're currently at 7,100 followers and growing. We want to get to 10K hopefully by the end of this year. So go ahead and give us a follow at Empire State of Baseball on the gram.
Absolutely, and big shout out to Corey Favs, always killing it with the reels. So I noticed you posted one today. So are you planning to do a Subway Series moment per day up until the weekend?
That's my game plan. It's Subway Series week, so each day will be a some random moment. One Met moment, one Yankee moment, maybe a general moment. So each day will be something Subway Series themed this week.
Well, what's this now here? Swift goes 6 innings, 3 runs. According to Joe, that's not a good game. That's a quality start, Joe.
Yes, I know. I don't agree with the quality start stat.
Okay, well then that's
three runs is a 4.5 ERA over 6 innings. That's not quality start to me. That's a mediocre.
That's what it is according to MLB. So I don't have to tell.
I know.
All right, let's get it.
Again, I've never agreed with that assessment of it. If you have a 4.5 ERA, you're not that good of a pitcher. Okay. Am I wrong with that?
Fair,
you're a fifth starter.
Okay. Sure, so, but that's their metric. I don't know what we're debating here. We can't debate Major League Baseball right now.
That's fine. It doesn't mean I agree with it.
I kind of agree with Joe. I think it's fine. It's a fine start. It's a start that should be able to get you a win. I don't think it. Let's put it this way. To Joe's point, and God, I hate defending Joe more than almost anything. But if a pitcher ended the season with a 4.5 ERA, would you call him a quality pitcher?
I'd say he's a mediocre pitcher.
Joe, I was asking the other two.
So Seth Lugo is a mediocre starter then.
I'll tell you what, honestly, it'd be funny. You get 32 quality starts with 4.5 years.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do agree. It's listen, I take it. I generally take it if you have a good offense, but quality, I think it's just like a poorly named stat. Hey, let's move on.
Yeah. What if it was another inning added? With the 3 earned, is that better?
7-3, I think that's a solid start.
I think that's fair.
Okay,
yeah, but that's not what it is.
There's your middle ground. All right, let's get over to Took with our Book It pick. I wonder what he's picked this time around.
What's up, everyone? Took us back with the Book It pick of the week. Now, let me just tell you, Disney just dropped their Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party dates. Take a look at those dates. If you guys are interested in any trips, give me a call, shoot me an email. I'll be ready to help you out and book your trip. Now, to my Book It pick of the week. Everyone knows I'm a big-time Yankee fan. But this week, the Yankees are playing the Mets. And I really don't have too much confidence in my team right now. So, I am going to book the Mets this week, taking this weekend series with Francisco Alvarez showing out. What do you guys got?
Wow.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
No,
What a
come on.
turn.
Understood the assignment.
What a
Understood the
wait, actually,
assignment.
wait, this is great. This is
Reverse
great. I know
jinx.
what
I
you're
will
doing.
say
took
he
my
had
sword
the
the
Mets
whole
versus the
time.
Diamondbacks last
I
week,
know what
and
he was
that
doing the
actually
whole
hit.
time. I
The
love it.
Diamondback
Great
Mets
pick, Tuck.
series hit last
Great
week.
put. Great pick, Tuck. I love
You
it.
knew he was going to do that. You knew what he knew what
Smart man.
was.
He's a smart man. Smart man.
I think Bookett starts his winning streak here. He's going to have a back-to-back week. I like it, Took.
Well, he had so his winning streak started. It technically started last week. So he offline had the Mets choose the Mets over the Diamondbacks. So if the Mets get this again, it's a winning streak. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Corey, we already know how you feel. Mets over Yankees there. Joe, I guess you're in the same boat. Nothing's changing you there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat, but I'm screwed.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you guys are screwed. What do you guys think of the Francisco Alvarez pick? If he's remotely serious, what do we think of the pick?
Well, it's okay. Alvarez, honestly, he's hitting 300 since he's come back. I think him and Torrens is a nice little tag team. Torrens is definitely getting one game. So for Alvarez to be the player to watch, he's going to have a big moment or, all hits in the 2 games he plays.
Listen, Alvarez right now his approach has vastly improved over what it was last year, which is basically swing at everything. It's vastly improved. Now, the next step in the improvement is can he continue that approach while ramping up the power production? Because this Alvarez is supposed to be a guy who can threaten 30 home runs from behind the plate. That's unique in the catching game today in Major League Baseball. There's only a handful of guys that can do that. Can he keep that refined approach while adding those power statistics? That's the key. If he can, that's a great pick because he has been really good since he's come back. And even more so, Torrens has been phenomenal for this team. Torrens has been a great, great part of this team so far, and now he's in limited playing time. So the catch and battery itself is phenomenal for the Mets at this particular moment.
Absolutely. Tom, Mets, Yankees, what do you got?
I just hope that Took is not driving that ugly ass Cybertruck that was behind him. That was my main takeaway. That was JoJo in the background. That would be a real shame. There's a lot cheaper ways to tell the world you have a small dick than driving a Cybertruck. But yeah, listen. To my point before, I think it'll be a fun series. I think the Yankees have the pitching advantages. I'll take them 2-3. But if they lose 2-3, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. If they get embarrassed, I'm not going to feel good like I would in any other series if they got embarrassed. That's kind of where I land on it, and I'll go that way.
Yankees take 2 out of 3. They'll lose game 1 with the game that Rodon would start, and not necessarily at Rodon's peril. I just think that's going to be a weird game. I don't know how the Yankees are going to come out of the West Coast. I know they have the day off for travel, but I never like the team's chances anytime they have to travel from the West to the East. So
it's going to be, yeah.
Can I lodge a complaint with the schedule?
Sure.
Since when do you have a Subway Series occur on a weekend, and you have a 1:00 game Saturday? It's 7:00, 1:00. How does that make sense? 1:00. If let's say it's a nice day out, which remains to be seen.
Sure.
Well, it's the Subway Series. The stadium's going to be full no matter what. But who's sitting inside at 1:00 on a Saturday in May watching a baseball game?
Well, I mean, it's a Saturday, so isn't there a better chance that you're probably going to get the afternoon watch than somebody having Saturday night plans?
Why wouldn't you put it at 4:00 when everybody's going out for dinner, going to the bars, looking for something to watch? Why are we doing a 1:00?
And that's typically like a Fox schedule. I know this game is not on Fox. I think this is a local broadcast.
Yeah.
So
I
don't
think
know.
this is so far down on the list of things to be concerned about.
No, I'm just saying
What are we
from, like,
doing,
from
Joe?
my perspective, I'd rather see
Joe's
it
already
7-4,
he's ready to
7.
he's ready to make the excuse Griffin Canning. He's a 4 o'clock guy. He's not a 1 o'clock guy, and he's not gonna have his coffee in time, and that's why he's gonna get lit the fuck up by
The
Aaron
biggest
Judge.
concern is the weather right now because the weather's
Yeah.
not looking good throughout the week.
Well, there's
So
a
who the
chance
hell
the game's
knows
delayed
how-
anyway.
Yeah, there's a chance that game
Sure.
gets delayed. There's a chance the Friday game moves to Sunday because Sundays look like the better day of the weekend. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. So
I
we're
just
gonna
found it
monitor.
very strange. That's all. I just
Okay.
a
The
Saturday
4 o'clock
Sunday
seemed like it
series
would have
game,
been the lock.
I thought 4 o'clock would be the lock.
Yeah.
Joe's got some interesting observations today between the time on Saturday, quality starts. I mean, Joe's on one today, so God bless him. All righty, well, Joe, while we're on you, let's talk about YouTube.
Yes. We are live streaming on X and Instagram, but YouTube is actually our preferred platform of viewership. Why? Because we can interact with you, the audience, if you participate in the chat. So go over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It's free, so there's no excuse for you not to subscribe.
100%.
Like the video if you're watching and tuning in and you like what you see. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. We're trying to do a giveaway, guys. Like, if you help us get to 500, we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to give something away. So if you help us out there, we'll do that. And you can join us, and you can join the Crosstown conversation and this community, all on YouTube.
Take it a little while though. I mean, it doesn't help when the Knicks are playing at the same time as our show. Currently with the New York Knicks in this game 4, they've reached halftime. The Celtics are up 62-51 at halftime here. Jacob Petruzzi pulled this note up before we move along here. I thought this was interesting. Per Greg Joyce, the plan is for DJ LeMay to be activated off the IL tomorrow and make his first start on Wednesday. Per Boone, he is en route to Seattle. Now, actually, I thought he was already with the team, but okay. Luis Hill is about 2 to 3 weeks away from getting on the mound in his throwing program. Boone said would think that means best case for his return at this point would be July. So thanks for the notes there, Jacob. Okay. So, of course, as you can tell, today's themes have been all about the Subway Series. So keeping with that theme, we're debuting a new segment. We've collaborated on a countdown here, top 5 list that we're calling High Five. And we're going to go through the top 5 moments that have happened throughout Subway Series play. Corey Favs, why don't you kick this off? What placed at number 5?
Yeah, number 5 on this list. It's a relatively recent game, too. Go back a few years ago, 2021. Francisco Lindor hit the 3 home runs in an absolute classic. This was a back-and-forth game. I think Stanton had the big home run late. There was a lot of chirping this game. But Lindor delivered not once, not twice, but thrice. 3 home run game. Mets ended up winning 7-6 at Citi Field. That was the Sunday night ESPN game of that series. The only thing that was a little deflating with this game from a Mets standpoint, season was basically done at that point. So it took a little bit of the juice from my side. But just to take away from the moment, it was still a very big moment in Subway Series history.
Absolutely. And I think what I liked about that, it's not just really just the 3 homer game, because I had it in my personal list as well. It was just the game itself. It was an awesome game.
Yeah.
A lot of back and forth stuff going
Very
on.
good game.
I don't know if I'm not mistaken, was this the game where the 2 teams met in the middle? I know there was a lot of points going on.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So Joe, that was a wild game in 2020.
Yeah, that because Stanton had the 2 home runs. After Stanton's second home run, I think it was that where people started chirping. Lindor responded with his second home run and made the muscle sign out to Stanton. And I think that started the whole thing. And of course, Javi Baez was on this team, so that doesn't help anybody's tempers. And then finally, at the end, Lindor hits puts the final nail in the coffin and gets his 3 home run game. But it was back and forth because it was Lindor, Stanton. And yeah, this was the backbreaker. It was bottom of the 8th. He had the 2 home runs already, and off of Chad Green here, Parks won into the Coca-Cola corner. It was phenomenal, right? And then you get the show there. But
Lord,
Yeah, they had been going out at it multiple times that game. And I mean, it was just a great game. Look, I was 7-6, and you got 5 home runs between Lindor and Stanton. I mean, that's a phenomenal game. Either way you cut it.
100%. So that is at our number 5 spot here. Joe, let's go to number 4.
Number 4 is actually going to be all the way back in 2006, May 19th, 2006. David Wright gets the walk-off hit against Mariano Rivera. And again, a 7-6 classic against the Mets and Yankees. I remember this game. I was watching this game, as I was in high school at the time. And this was a big win for the Mets. It was David Wright who would go to be the captain. He got to Mariano. And for whatever reason, David actually has pretty good numbers over his career against Mariano Rivera. And this was one of the highlights of that matchup between the two. Wright gets that walk-off knock against Mariano. And that was a big thing. You know, Mariano was seen as untouchable by a lot of people. And I don't think the Mets had ever won a game and caused Mariano to blow a save before that. I'd have to check the record, but I think that was the first one that the Mets got to Mariano, if I remember correctly.
Well,
I remember that game as well, and I wasn't watching the full game. I remember I was at the movie theaters. What movie? Couldn't tell you. But I remember walking out of the theater as that inning was ongoing and watching David Wright win it.
Yeah.
Well, yep.
I thought that ball was out. He got that good. And the center fielder was in because there were men on base. I think there was a man on third. So no matter what, that game was over, even if that ball was caught. But that again, another classic, 7-6. That was a back and forth game, and that was a big one for them.
And we move on from some positivity for the Mets and go on to some positivity for the Yankees. And I'll take this one from here. In the number 3 spot is this classic from 2009, June 12th to be specific. It is the walk-off E4 on Luis Castillo. Now, I want to touch on this because I remember where I was. I remember watching this game. I just thought, okay, well, the Mets have this sealed. You got Francisco Rodriguez on the mound. Things are looking good for the New York Metropolitans. And, I could describe this as much as I want, but I'd rather just show you guys the moment and put Corey and Joe through a little more misery from almost over 16 years ago. So
I remember exactly where I was as well as Rich is pulling this up. I was working at in college. I was still living on campus this summer. A-Rod almost breaks his bat there. Credit to Mark Teixeira here. Mark Teixeira is running this entire Mark Teixeira. Also, what was that? But if the throw goes home, maybe a chance. But Teixeira running, he scores from first there, I think. On that play. So all credit to him, and all credit to A-Rod for putting that side spin on the ball. It's just something that the should be Hall of Famer was able to do. Just a miracle man with the bat.
One of the many walk-offs from that Yankees team that season. That was the season of the pie for AJ Burnett, and certainly not the moment for Luis Castillo there, Corey Favs.
Unbelievable. I mean, Luis Castillo, and I think he had a Gold Glove at some point in his career. He used it in younger days. He was a good second baseman. Got him in 08, had a decent 08, and it was all downhill from there. This play basically sealed Luis Castillo's fate in New York.
Unfortunately. All right, let's go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
No, I mean that just a play you live in infamy and burned into your minds, because I mean you don't see that kind of thing, and the Mets had that game won. That was a great matchup. You had A-Rod versus K-Rod.
It was Saturday night game, I think.
Saturday night game. Like that was it, and the Mets got the best of the Yankees.
Many a Keystone Lights were consumed post that game.
Now when the Mets 09, the Mets were a decent team at first, and I think in June they started to pull apart.
That summed up, that marked the official end of the Mets being a good team basically until 2015. It was that game, that pop-up ended what the Mets having a chance at the playoffs, because remember, the Mets had a chance in 07. They even had a chance, outside chance in 08. The new ballpark was built, the works. And from then until 2015 was that was the sign of misery in there.
Luis Castillo couldn't handle New York, according to LI. Now, Jordan, it's going to be a rivalry now. Every Yankee fan will boo the hell out
I
of
hope they
Soto.
silent treat. I would love them to silent treatment Soto.
Yeah.
They're not going to.
You know what would be more? Yeah, honestly, outside of just the
wish.
silent treatment, but even better, when he does
Yes.
it back, just everybody just turn around, and don't even watch. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But here we go. In our number 2 spot, Thomas, what do we got?
The number 2 spot here, we have a little moment called the Subway Series, which I actually had number 1. I had, I think, 2 parts of this in my rankings, but we have the Subway Series, the 2000 Subway Series. Yankees defeat the Mets. Rich has it as 4-2. Maybe that was game 5. They won.
It was the game. It was just the game. It was the game score.
Gotcha. Iconic series. There could be a moment from this series we'll talk about next. A series that the Yankees completely, if you look at, they won 4-1 in the series, but if you look at the aggregate actually for that series, Yankees only outscored the Mets by 3. All the games were close. Yankees won the first 2 games at home.
I still thought I watched this to this day, and I still think that ball goes out.
Off the bat, this looks like a bomb.
It looks
you
like
know what, Joe?
Look,
this reminds me of the Piazza homer against Atlanta after 9/11. Like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's off the camera well.
Yeah.
It looks like it's off the camera tower. You play that back. I swear to God, I remember watching it, and I remember jumping up that ball was out, and he caught that ball just, I guess, off the end. And it's still, I go back and watch the replays, and I think it's out.
Well, actually, probably more jammed, if anything, because it's. Oh no, because it would have been his cutter going away from him.
Oh yeah. Look at this.
I think he got off the end of the bat. Yeah,
I think it just. Yeah. I think that Mariano cutter just drifted just enough to the down. If he had a torpedo bat, it'd be out.
Like I said, probably not, because it was off the end.
I know.
It was more other way. But no, again, it was a closer series than a lot of people would think. Mets won game 3, and then Derek Jeter kind of cemented his World Series MVP. First pitch, game 4, homer, which I think really just took the air out of the building, and then kind of kept the Yankees moving. Hitman, I had the Derek Jeter home run as the number 1 on my list. Wow. I think we ended up kind of compiling our World Series moments into one. I'll tell you this, if the Mets would have won that World Series, it would have been the number 1, because Joe would have had a conniption. I think he would have had that moment tattooed on his ass if the Mets had won that World Series.
I'll tell you,
we have it at number 2 here, because the Yankees have so many.
If we're on the conversation, honorable mentions before we get to number 1, I'll tell you one that I had on my list was actually in the benefit of the Mets, because you just see so many different oddities every single year in Major League Baseball. And obviously the 2020 season in of itself was an oddity to begin with, the COVID year. But how strange is it when you come into Yankee Stadium as the home team for the New York Mets and walk off at Yankee Stadium?
I thought about that one.
My oddity for honorable mention, I don't know if you guys remember this. I distinctly remember watching as a kid. The ball hit back to El Duque, gets stuck in his glove, and he took his glove and he threw it to first base. I had never seen anything like that. I think we've seen it a couple times since, but I think as like an 8-year-old or however old I was, it was just like, oh my God, I just saw the coolest thing I have ever. It's like, it's truly like just like
I had Dave Malicki's complete game shutout in the first ever
Dave Malicki
Subway Series game. And then I had Delgado's 9 RBI game, which I thought was really memorable. Yeah. I believe that was in Yankee Stadium, that game.
And 08, I think. The one I had, and it was actually our reel for today, I had Dae-Sung Koo in there too, just because it was a funny moment. It's something funny. You did not expect at all. Again, it was earlier in the year. It wasn't playoff implications like a lot of the moments we had. It was just a funny, hysterical moment. The guy never had a hit, never swung the bat. First time he swings the bat in his Major League career, a double off Randy Johnson, basically stealing home plate off the bunt. Just funny moments. I had that one on my list too.
Now, I will say with the number one spot, a list like this, which is hard to compile when 50% is Mets fans, 50% Yankees fans, it's hard to take the biasness out of unforgettable moments. But I say with this list was a perfect split because the number one, not really in the Mets benefit, not really in the Yankees benefit. Corey Favs, who's the number one?
Yeah, number one, and this is going to span several different seasons. You see 99 to 01, basically, and it's basically just that feud, the general feud between Roger Clemens and Mike Piazza, and how many moments you see between these two over the brief years of that Subway Series rivalry. Whether it's hitting Piazza in the head, the bat incident.
Yep.
It was always something with this drama. And when you think of Subway Series, Mets and Yankees, the first two players, at least that come to my mind, is Roger Clemens and Mike Piazza. So I think we did a good one here, number one.
It's the bat. The bat thing, because it was so egregious, right? I've never seen it in baseball. Nobody's ever seen it since. The excuse that it was the ball. Well, why are you throwing the ball at Mike Piazza? Like the whole entire thing, the fact that this was in a World Series game. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, you can say whatever you want to take a sharded bat and throw it at the batter. Like it's just an.
So Clemens came up with had the excuse that he thought it was the ball and he was just trying to, and when he realized the bat, he was just trying to throw it away, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's something that's crazy. What you don't hear, because obviously I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube here, Joe Buck and Tim McCarver on a national broadcast are absolutely laying into Roger Clemens as we're looking at this right now, absolutely laying into him. And it's funny because you just don't get that with the national broadcast show. Like there's just no, you try to take all the bias out of a situation. They were clearly on Piazza's side throughout this whole thing going on.
Everyone was on Piazza's side because it was earlier in the year where Clemens hit Piazza in the head. Also, for what it's worth, incredible athleticism out of Roger Clemens to catch the bat and throw it is
thought it was the ball.
Is truly a level of athleticism.
Listen, I mean that's the key in this whole thing is almost nobody thinks that Clemens has a valid excuse for doing that. And
I mean, he says though, to his defense, if you watch the video, he says immediately thought it was. I don't know if he thought it was a foul ball and he was throwing. It's a crazy play. The whole situation is crazy. Again, early in the season, him getting hit, right on the NY of the helmet. Thank God it was okay from that. It was such an interesting rivalry that came to head in the World Series. Like that's the other crazy thing. This happened in game 1, game 2. Like this
Piazza's stats off of Clemens: 8 for 19, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, and 22 plate appearances.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure not a lot of people hit Clemens like that. So it's very interesting.
What I'll say, so there's a channel that I'm a big fan of. It's called Secret Base. Secret Base does a great job in looking back at old moments. They have a rewinder series that I highly recommend. They also have a series called Beef, which they examine the rivalries from different players, different teams. So one of the episodes covers the full Mike Piazza versus Roger Clemens. A lot of things you picked up from it. One thing that I thought was funny that they talked about, because again, this thing spanned 3 years, but a few years later, it's 2004. Mike Piazza and Roger Clemens are in the American League. And guess what? They both made the All-Star team. And guess what? They were both battery mates on that All-Star team. And still, there was a bit of pettiness between the two because Clemens didn't look great. There was a rumor that Clemens was tipping his pitches to make Piazza look bad. So this is a thing that even spawned past the Yankees-Mets rivalry. Silly as it sounds, but Roger Clemens, Mike Piazza, the entire saga list out at number one on high 5.
What is Jose Budo doing?
He's a household name, so he's probably just, being great.
He just attempted his third pickoff attempt at a guy on second base. Almost got him, but didn't get him. And now he balked him over to third base. It's 1 out. It's a tie ball game. Why are you giving him a free base?
Oh, there you go. Tie ball game
household
here.
Name. Budo.
LI, whoever lost the rivalry between Piazza and Clemens couldn't handle New York. With the numbers, Clemens couldn't handle.
Why are you showing that?
Listen, I gotta hype him up one of these times.
Moderators, I want him out.
Let's talk about X. Make sure to give us a follow at ESB Podcast on our main page, at ESBNYM, at ESBNYY for our subsidiary pages. Give us all a follow at Corey Favs, at JR Pugs, at T Wospil, at Rich J Rivera. Make sure to give us a follow over at a Bronx Take, the Bronx Take team specifically, at Boogie Dan, NYY, at Christy Evans 618, and at Sierra Not Missed. We're over 3,200 followers on our main page. And also, just make sure to tune in for a Bronx Take, which is every day, Monday through Friday, scattered times throughout the week. Actually, we have a new schedule. I think the only episode that's at 5 o'clock is the Wednesday show now, hosted by Boogie. And also make sure to tune in for Extra Innings, which is following tonight's episode of ESB. All right, let's get into the games. Our standings looking good for Joe and I. We're at the top of the leaderboard. So, the games are starting to become more and more important between Joe and myself. And for today's game, Joe and I are actually presenting the game, so we have points to try to defend here, Joseph. So why don't you get started with your version of the lineup card?
All right, we are going back to Mother's Day 2014. All right, so this is a game against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Mets won 5-4 on a walk-off hit by Ruben Tejada. I originally had the 3 outfielders in this, but Rich wanted me to have somebody on the bottom half of the lineup. So we are missing 2 outfielders, and I'll leave the last position up to you. It's fairly.
So Joe just gave away the recipe. I'm not.
I'm going to say the 4-hitter is Lucas Duda, left field.
It is not Lucas Duda. It is not left field.
Ooh, weird how you said that. Okay, for Corey.
No.
What do we got?
2014.
Who are we missing here? 2014.
Travis Darno catching 7th.
Catching is 7th.
Is it Travis Darno?
It is not Travis Darno.
So it's incorrect.
Travis Darno would pinch hit in this game.
Leading off left field, Kirk Neuenweiss.
No. Good guess, but no.
Damn. I felt good about that one.
Leading off right field, Curtis Granderson.
Good guess. Also no. He would pinch hit in this game.
God.
Oh, Joe might defend all 3 points.
Joe probably. Who the hell is Eric Campbell?
Well, I
thought it was.
I know. I can't guess 7 because I know who 7 is, and
yes.
I already had a conversation with Joe, so I can't guess 7.
I'd be very surprised if Corey did not get number 7.
That leaves left and right field for me to try to guess.
If I didn't do Eric Campbell, that would have been cruel.
Oh, no, because that's not gonna be my guess because he was acquired the next year.
Catcher Kevin Plawecki, 7.
No.
Ooh.
Corey Cade out.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn. Joe, I would love to guess number 7. I would love to guess number 7.
I'll give you a hint. One of the outfielders is in the broadcast business at the moment.
Son of a bitch.
Batting 4th in right field, Jeff Francoeur.
No.
I know who it is now. So that I'm like,
In the oh man.
Hey.
Leading off in left field, Chris Young. I got 2 of it wrong, didn't I?
You got 2 of the 3 wrong. You got the right player in the wrong spot.
I didn't get the point.
So that's a no. But you gave Tom a
so Chris Young is batting 4th.
Yes.
Bang. Points for Tom.
That's a
4th in right field.
That's
4th in right field
right there.
God, I was gonna say Jason Bay, but I'm not gonna say him now because he wasn't been leading off.
14.
I don't know.
I don't think it was on the team.
Listen, probably not. Joe, I'm tired here.
Crazy.
Let's see.
Is Rich Cade out?
Yeah, I'm Cade out.
Yeah.
Tom's got 1K, 1 correct.
I don't want to give points to Joe because I have a fun name I want to say, but it's definitely not right.
But you got 2 Ks, so say the fun name.
Oh, the fun name was going to be Lastings Milich.
No.
No.
Oh, come on. That's a
Definitely
decade.
not. Long gone.
It's a fun name, though. It's a fun name to say.
Wow.
So
I can't believe
that was it then. You said I had 2 Ks. Or do I have one more
You
case?
You have one more left.
Oh, I thought that was my last. Okay.
Oh, you got one more left.
A Molina is catching at 7th.
No. So number 1 actually shares the same name as Chris Young, and that is Eric Young Jr.
Oh my God.
Who I think was the base coach for the Rockies recently.
I think so.
And number 7 is Anthony Recker.
Oh,
Position.
Yeah.
man.
That was the one.
Corey, I'm disappointed. Listen, Eric Young was a brutal one, but this whole lineup card was a failure. First of all, Joe messed up on how to do the damn thing, so I told him, listen, I'll sacrifice my point. Then secondly, I actually guessed the correct player, just put him in the wrong position and the wrong spot in the lineup, so I just screwed myself.
It was around Plawecki's time, so it wasn't
It's
too
a real
far out
shame
there.
what happened to you,
Oh.
Richard.
So
Nasty work.
All right, let's
All
let me
right,
get
let's see
these
if we can
3
play-
and let's move on.
Let's see if we can play some defense here on the New York Yankees side of it. All right, so I stuck with a theme here because it's a theme tonight.
Last thing,
We got a Subway Series game here, folks. September 20th, 2015. Joe, does that date sound familiar? Should sound familiar. We went to this game.
it does sound familiar.
Let's
Yes, we did go to the game. All right.
This is the game we went to.
That was a good one.
No,
Rich.
he's
Dang.
not there.
Let's see. Let's go Mark Teixeira, number 5 at first base.
Incorrect.
Greg Bird at first base.
No. Too
Batting where?
Batting 7.
This
I
was
give
the
you the
one we
point
got
because
the
he is in the lineup. He's batting 5th,
All right.
but you get the point.
Greg Bird? Greg Bird's there in 2015?
Greg Bird was in there, batting 5th and at first base. Yep.
Jesus.
Good job.
So what are we missing? We're missing right and second.
That is correct. K for Joe, point for Corey, nothing for Tom yet. I'll look in the chat. No correct answers yet in the chat.
Neil Walker at 2nd and 7th?
That's
Hell of a guess. That's a hell of a guess, Thomas, but that is incorrect.
good guess.
Hell of a guess.
Xavier Nady in right field?
Way too late. Way too late.
Yeah, no, Nady was
late
on the
2000s.
06 Mets.
2015.
This is the Yankees. Xavier Nady's at the Yankees later.
So we got
Oh yeah, there's no. I was about to say DH, but no, that was NL. That was an NL game, an old NL game. Why? 2015.
Was it Carlos Beltran in right field? Batting.
That is,
I was about to say his name.
that's correct. Yes, that's fully correct. Batting.
I was about to say his name too. Damn it.
Yep. So that leaves batting 7th and at second base. And Joe, you have 1 K. Tom, you have 2 Ks. Corey, you have no Ks.
Stephen Drew.
It's Stephen Drew, second base.
Steven Drew's a great guess, and I probably would have guessed the same way, but it's incorrect.
Damn.
And I don't know who I give a fucking K to because you both said it.
We should both get it. We'll both get it.
I think Corey said it first.
I did. Yeah, we both said it.
Rob Refsnyder. How about that? How about that name?
Rob Refsnyder is listed in the chat, so thank you for looking in the chat. But
No, I didn't look in the chat.
That is not correct. So, Joe, you are K'd out. But you
I got 1K, right? I'll take the Drew one.
So, Corey, you got
Gotta be
2
a
to play
random
with.
thing.
Tom, you have only 1 to play with.
Yeah.
I will say, as far as difficulty, it is a difficult one, but once you hear the name, I mean, you guys all know the name.
Do we all know it?
I mean, he was once a first-round pick. That helps. Not picked by the Yankees. batting seventh at second base between Chase Headley and Didi Gregorius. And actually, I'll give you another hint. If this helps, Joe, let's see how good your memory is. He homered in this game. Along with Greg Bird homered. This guy also homered.
Oh, it's so random, Rich.
It is.
Oh, the name is so random now that
I cannot wait to add another point to my total. Because I need it.
I don't think they're either of them are going to get it. It's so random.
Personally, I would be shocked if any of you guys get this.
It's not Brian Roberts. It's too late.
It's not Brian Roberts.
That's a good guess, though.
Guess. Still another great second base guess. The guesses are great. All these guesses have been fantastic.
Who's got strikes left? They both do?
I got one left.
Corey's got one left.
Corey and
Tom's
I
got one
one.
left. And I'm starting to feel really, really bad. But
all right, you got to throw a stick
seen...
of dynamite in the water, guys.
Let's see. Oh, there is. It looks like there is a correct guess here in the chat. Yeah, because they didn't know how to spell. But yes, there is a correct guess here in the chat.
I
don't think Corey is going to get it. I'd have a very hard time believing Tom would get it.
Tom, Corey, for 916.
I am going. Oh God.
Yeah, I don't.
Say.
Are we taking
Dan Ugla? I don't know. I got nothing.
Dan
Ugla.
Yeah,
not Dan Ugla.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the back. I can't think of it. We're tapped out here.
Correct answer is Dustin Ackley.
Dustin Ackley.
I would have never got it.
Dustin
Yeah,
Ackley.
never got it.
I know Dustin Ackley is. Dustin Ackley was not coming
Of
out.
the Seattle Mariners, had a decent little start in his career, just never put it together. And then the Yankees took him on as their second baseman late in the 2015 season. So there you have it. So I'll take.
I still can't believe Greg Bird was up.
Joe, you cleaned up pretty well today. So you got 3 points added to your total. And I believe we have points all around, right? I think Corey gained a point. Tom gained a point. So everybody gained a point at least today. So not a bad day for the fellas here on ESB Games. But that's going to do it for Empire State of Baseball, episode number 124. Extra Innings is going to go live in just a few minutes. We're going to go live till the Yankee game starting at 9:40. So we're ending a little bit early. Make sure to join us next week, episode number 125. That's next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. It is the debut of the trading floor for the New York Strike Exchange. So a lot of fun there. So let's get around the room, say our last licks and get the hell out of here. Tom, starting with you. Go ahead.
I am hot. I am tired, and I am done.
Yes, you are. Joe?
Mets got runners at the corners, no out, down 2-1, and Lindor and the top of the order is up.
Big spot for the New York Metropolitans. Corey Favs.
Listen, hope the Mets pull this game out. Hope the Mets have a good week. Hope the mothers had a very good Mother's Day weekend.
I echo that sentiment completely. Hopefully, all the mothers had a great Mother's Day weekend. Oh, a special shout out to my brother-in-law celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday. All right, folks. We will see you next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Take care.